Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Barry and this is Sensualize, and I've been tagged, and this is about 10 nostalgic fragrances in my collection. So I was tagged by Northwest Scent. Quite a new channel. Going to be featuring him in my up and coming and new fragrance reviews on YouTube videos soon. But he's tagged me, and he tagged me to list 4 nostalgic fragrances. Now I've got quite a few that bring back those scent memories, so I've decided to turn it into 10. So that should be fun. But what I'll do, I'll tag 4 other channels, and they're all fairly new. Fresh Sentiments, got a great vibe about him, really enjoy his channel. So you've been tagged. We've got The Smell of Truth, another really good channel. I think he's from Sweden. Really enjoying his stuff at the moment as well. I've got Kid Fragrance, who he's fairly new on his journey. Looking forward to what he can do with this tag. And lastly, JP Frags, great guy, super channel. So hopefully all 4 of these guys can do the tag. Love to see them do it. It's always interesting, especially with newer people on the scene, to have a look at their journey and what it's got them to where they are at the moment. So it'd be great if they could do the tag. So the way I did this nostalgic fragrances that gave me scent memories, I started off with a 2 for 1. So although I'm saying it's 10 fragrances, there's 11 here, but these 2 both bring back exactly the same scent memories for me. And that is Brut by Fabergé, or I think it's Parfums Prestige as it is now, and Old Spice, the original. So both of these bring back that memory of being at my granddad's house, walking into the bathroom, getting that hit of that smell, walking into my own bathroom, which is where most people used to keep their fragrances back in the day. It used to be in the cabinet in the bathroom, and I'd smell it after my dad's just had a shave, and I could smell these 2 fragrances. If it wasn't one, it was the other, and that was always the way. So Brut is like lavender, it's anise, it's got woods in there. It's quite an aromatic woody, but at the same time it's sweet and fresh, and it's got spice in there, so it's really nice. And I still use it now as an aftershave splash. Really enjoy using it. And Old Spice, it's just spices in a bottle. You're talking cinnamon, nutmeg, pepper. It's got a little bit of a floral feel to it, and it's got a fresh vibe to it as well. So another one which is very invigorating when you throw it on after you've just had a shave. 2 brilliant frags that bring back great scent memories. So the next one, and this was basically my first frag. Well, the first real frag. I'd had some Avon things which my mum used to buy me to keep me smelling clean, you know, as you are as a smelly teenager growing up. And the first one that I proper got is this one from Yardley, and it's Yardley Gold for Men, and this is the EDT. This goes for an absolute bomb now, even if you can find the EDT. I used to own the aftershave. When I saw this, I think they advertised it on eBay as an aftershave, but then when I saw the label and saw it was an EDT, I snapped it up, and I picked this up for about £20, and you can't even find them now. And if you do find them, you're talking £150 plus for this. But this is my first frag, the first one that I was proper throwing on and actually enjoying it. This has got bergamot, it's got lemon, there's basil, there's the lavender feel, patchouli, and it's got cloves as well. So it's fresh and it's smooth, but it's got a bit of spice, And cloves are one of my favourite notes. Gives something a real good punch and a real tanginess to it. And this just brings back brilliant memories from when I started first wearing it. On to the next one, and this is the first time that I went to a nightclub, and this is what I was wearing. So picture this. I've got my sky blue crinkle cut suit on with the exaggerated shoulders. Bearing in mind you're talking late 80s, so you're talking Don Johnson, Miami Vice sort of era. Went to the first nightclub, completely overwhelmed, and I was wearing CK Obsession. This I still love to this day. It's still brilliant, especially for like a date night. Absolutely great. And I think the first nightclub I ever went to was a place called 42nd Street in Aylesbury. And as soon as I walked in, it was just like everything just blew me away. I'd never experienced anything like it. I'd been in the local pub. I think I'd been drinking in the local pub for 3-4 years before I was supposed to, which is another story. So this is warm, it's spicy, it's got a woody amber feel to it as well. So you're talking cinnamon, amber, but there's like sweetness in there as well, which is the vanilla. Absolutely beautiful. Even to this day, still enjoy wearing it. So on to the next one, and this was a birthday present, and this was for my 21st birthday, and this was brand new out. And when I got it, I was over the moon that I'd got this new frag. It was breaking down boundaries, absolutely loved it. And it's another Calvin Klein, and it's Calvin Klein Eternity. Now the performance on this nowadays is nowhere near what it used to be, but it's still a nice, aromatic, fresh, citrusy fragrance. It's got the lemon, the bergamot, it's got the lavender in there, and I love it. It's amazing. It still brings back, when I spray it now, all those memories from my 21st birthday, going out with my mates. We used to go to like loads of different wine bars and pubs, but it wasn't the normal sort of pubs where you got old men standing around. It was the sort of pubs where it was just full of younger people like myself, and we used to have an absolute blast. So that was CK Eternity. So the next one, we talked about my first clubbing scent, which was CK Obsession, but the main thing that I used to go clubbing in was this one. So this is another one. As soon as it was released, everybody was going, what is that smell? Everybody started wearing it, absolutely loved it. And it's Yo Palm, or Dew Palm, as some people call it. Now, nowadays it's not as good as what it was back then. Lots of reformulations, but this is sweet, it's floral, it's juicy, there's a raspberry fruitiness to it, but it's still musky and spicy at the same time, and this was a game changer, and it brought the more floral scents to the male market, in my opinion. But everybody was wearing it, and it just brings back so many memories. Even like standing in queues, wondering if you're going to get into that nightclub, whether you're going to get turned away or not, trying to look older than what you was. But yeah, that's my nightclubbing scent. So on to the next one, and this was my wedding day scent, and it's Diesel Fuel for Life. I still love this now and still reminisce when I put this on of a fantastic day. This is raspberry, anise, lavender. It's got woods in there. It's a nice, sweet, fruity frag again, and very, very enjoyable. I think I've mentioned that a few times on my channel before. So on to the next one. Now this has different memories for me. This was a bit of a hard time, but it still was a joyous moment at the same time. My lad was born, and he was born premature, so we was in operating theatre. He was coming early, 6 weeks earlier than what he should have, The wife had to have a C-section, and I was wearing this, and I remember the fray How to Save a Life was being played in the operating theatre as they was operating on my wife, which it's always a dangerous procedure. And then because of him being early, he hadn't been growing, I think, for 4 to 6 weeks. So you're talking about a baby that's developed at 32 weeks coming out on 36 weeks. No, 34 weeks he came out. So this is cool water. I used to wear it lots, but now that is the one thing that it always reminds me of that day. My lad was put into neonatal, and we spent the next month up and down the hospital every day, feeding him through tubes, through his nose, bathing him, doing everything a normal parent was doing. And I always remember the heartache of walking out that hospital after having a baby and not being able to go home with that baby. So I can only imagine what people go through when they lose children. It's just horrendous. But that is what brings back those memories. So you've got the fragrance from when my son was born. Now you've got the fragrance from when my daughter was born. And it is Fahrenheit. Now I used to rock this back in my 20s. Really enjoyed it. Absolutely loved it. Another one that I used to go clubbing in. But I remember wearing this on the day that my wife gave birth. This time it was a natural birth. Everything was happy. Everything was brilliant. But one of the things I remember is the blood. There was blood everywhere. It was a bit of a war zone in that hospital room. But this reminds me of that day, full of joys. Absolutely loved it. So on to the next one, and I've mentioned this a few times, and this is what basically got me into fragrances big time. I've obviously wore fragrances all through my life, but it was always, I owned 2 or 3 fragrances, maybe 4 fragrances at once at a push, but used to use the old bottle before I used to go and get another fragrance. So that's how it used to work back in the day. And it wasn't till I tried this that I realised there's a lot more out there. And then I started going on YouTube, looking at reviews, looking at what is brilliant, what isn't. Top 10s, used to go through all the top 10s. But this is what pushed me onto it. And I was around a friend's house and he says, "Oh, have you tried this?" His dad had gone away, was living in another country. He'd been round his dad's house and he'd picked up a bottle of this, and then there was probably about 4 ml left in the bottom, and he gave it to me. I took it home, sprayed it. I was blown away, and I mean proper blown away. And it is Jo Malone's Pomegranate Noir. This was just different to anything that I'd ever smelled before, and it just opened those channels up for smelling new and different things. So this is pomegranate, it's raspberry, it's got cloves in there again, which I love. There's a lovely rhubarb note in here, but there's a real tanginess to this fragrance. And that's what appealed to me. And then when I found out it was something that women wear as well, I was intrigued. Why would a woman want to wear something similar to this? But yeah, I just love it. It's amazing. And I've since bought a couple of clones of this which perform better than this, because that was my only gripe with this, is the performance wasn't brilliant. There's one at Pocket Scents which is absolutely great. I think it's Midnight Pomegranate. And then there's a new one just been released by Rosa Salas, which is Pomegranate Burst, and they're both brilliant performers. And I tend to wear them now rather than that. So on to the next one, and this is nostalgic for other reasons. This is my first Middle Eastern frag, and it's what basically got me into the Middle Eastern fragrances. Anybody that's a regular on this channel knows how much I love my Middle Eastern fragrances. I've got another haul coming soon, and this is the one that started it, and it's probably down to Kevin at Merseyscents, who picked this up, and I'd seen his review. This was before I was reviewing, and it was about Ragba Eau de Parfum by Lattafa. As soon as I smelt it, I was just blown away by the smell and the value. I think at the time this was like between £10 and £12, and you even got like a deodorant spray in there as well, which I just couldn't believe it. And then when I started exploring more and more, my whole world was opened up. So this is sweet, it's vanillic, but it's also got like a sugaryness to it as well, and there's a nice oud in there, which I don't say that often. Oud I'm really enjoying at the moment, other than the skanky, really hard to take ouds. Yeah, but this I really love. I mean, there's a lot of others which have overtaken this now as to what I prefer, but this opened up my Middle Eastern world. So that is another nostalgic frag for me. So that's it from me. Hopefully the 4 guys that I've tagged can do it. Big ups to Northwest Scent for tagging me. It's got a great channel. I'll leave the links to all those 5 channels in the description, so please give them a visit, have a look at their channels, see what you think. Really good channels. So let me know in the comments below what your most nostalgic fragrances are. What give you the most scent memories? I'd love to hear what yours are. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all soon. Stay fragrant, not vagrant.